Welcome, folks. It's another episode of the Gary and Mark Show, and I'm Gary.
And I'm Mark.
And we're coming to you. We're not live.
But we are alive.
We're alive.
And where are we, Gary?
We are in the living room of my home.
A very popular place.
Well, this is where we interviewed Peter Barr back in late spring.
Who is out on a United States tour in his RV.
Yeah, with his wife Allison, all the parks, doing all these trails, going to peak bagging.
Yeah, and you can follow them on Facebook.
Yeah.
If I can remember the name of their Facebook page, I'll put it in the links below.
Yeah.
I can't remember that, but it's fun to see where all they've been. Well, Gary, we just finished an election cycle, right?
We did, didn't we?
We did, and I guess I'm happy to report that Mayor Thomas was reelected.
Okay, that's good.
He was unopposed, but he was reelected.
Yeah.
There was, I heard, a major write-in campaign for Dee Dee.
Okay, well.
But Dee Dee probably...
She's kind of a law and order person.
Yes,
so,
you thought she would have won, but she didn't. Okay. So I don't know if you probably, our guest doesn't know Dee Dee, but
no.
She is head of the Wicked Women of Watershed motorcycle gang.
Oh.
Yeah, nice person.
That's intriguing.
Yeah. Nice person. So anyhow, also, Gary, our last episode was about the product the lab developed with your guidance, Feel Goodium.
A Feel Goodium. Yeah, it's you just take this pill and it's got all kinds of special stuff in it. And we're going to do another commercial where somebody dresses up in a lab coat and you can
That's
see.
right.
Yeah, but I figure if Mike Huckabee can push Relaxium, why can't we push Feel Goodium?
That's right. Well, if many people have listened to that podcast, I'm sure we could sell bottles of it.
Bottles of Feel Goodium.
I'm sure.
Liquid or ointment form.
Well, we don't want to waste too much time.
No,
we have
don't.
a special guest with us.
Y'all
Yes,
are
we
gonna
do.
put me to shame.
And we're going to bring her
Here we go.
on. So we have with us, Gary. You want to introduce her?
I would like to introduce, this is fellow Carolina Mountain Club member and one of the best guides ever with Blue Ridge Hiking Company, Bev MacDowell.
Oh, my.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for having
the crowd
me.
loves you already,
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
tell. Okay. Thank you, crowd.
thank you.
Y'all can simmer down a little bit now. All right.
Control yourselves.
Yeah. Hold it down. Okay. So I've known Bev probably not as long as you have, but I only know her as a teacher up in Asheville when I was teaching there.
I think I knew you first, Mark.
Yeah.
I knew Gary from shopping at Diamond Brand.
That's
Okay.
right.
Well, you might have. What was your first year at Carolina Day?
Oh, I'm bad with numbers.
But
My daughter was in kindergarten. I started subbing.
okay, so but 20 years ago at
And
least.
she's 25. So.
Okay. Well, okay, that's about right. So maybe I didn't know you before, but
You
so-
did. I think I remember us being at a Carolina Mountain Club dinner at the Arboretum when the fella who was the tracker talking about
Dwight
McCarter.
Dwight McCarter. I saw him last
what-
hiking to LeConte. There
Well,
he
what
was with the
memories
group.
these people have?
Well, he
Is a character.
Yeah, he's a character, and I have since been. If you go to Greenbrier in Park, there's a trail that's not on the map, but it takes you up to Engine Creek, and you go by the E. McCarter Cemetery on your way on this trail.
Is that his family?
I figure it's got to be some of his people. Yeah.
Well, so Bev, when I knew her, you were a worldwide hiker at the time, but I didn't know that. But now she is. You said you're still working at Carolina Day, the school
Well, I
in
teach
Asheville.
cursive. I teach cursive
Which
at
is-
Carolina Day, which I love. But you know what? Most of my hiking developed after I was 50 years old.
Okay, so that's what we need to transition to, because she has transitioned from mostly a full-time teacher, assistant teacher, etc.
And a mother. I was in the mother business.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I just
That's
kind
a
by absorption. I
Yeah.
started-
Two relatively grown kids, I guess.
Yes. I had my
Okay.
kids late in life. They were in their 20s. I
Okay.
had them, I was 38 and 40. That's already something interesting.
That would
But
be.
I had plenty of company in Asheville.
that's the age my parents were when I was born.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's more common now. So.
Yeah.
So, but Gary and Bev, Gary somewhat, Bev almost full-time, work for this company doing an interesting thing, and let's hear about what you do.
Are you going to say?
Well, I was just say Blue Ridge Hiking Company, which has been around, 14?
The oldest hiking company in Asheville.
Yeah.
Is there another? I didn't even know there was another.
There's several now.
Really?
But it founded by Jen Farr Davis, who I remember as a kid, and Mark and I, both our first year together at Mondam, her dad was still at camp there. But I've known Jen since she was little thing, and
she's well known for several things too,
Yeah.
like Bev here. But she was one that set the record at one time for the
fast. Well, let's see, what was it?
She
Supported
beat all men, all women.
Yeah,
The fastest known time on the Appalachian Trail.
for a supported hike, which
2,200
you're-
miles in 46 days.
And if
Which
you
is-
do the math, walking 40 plus miles a day, 40 some days in a row,
I can hardly drive that.
I know I could, but
and she's on Biden's sports
yeah,
council.
Really?
I'm not saying the title right, but
So she started this company.
she was in her 20s.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
When she started the
She's
company?
still in her 30s.
Yeah, I didn't
She's
know.
not quite 40.
Yeah.
but-
And so you do what with them?
It is a sweet spot in my life.
Tell
And
us
I
about
just
that.
fell into it all these years that I was taking hiking camps out at Carolina Day and hiking with friends, and then I joined the CMC, which is a big part of my story.
Which is Carolina Mountain
Carolina,
Club.
the mighty Carolina Mountain Club will be
All
100
people-
years old this year.
Right, most of the members are like 90, aren't they?
No.
No.
Things are changing in
Yeah.
the Carolina Mountain Club, just like they are in Asheville, in Hendersonville.
Getting younger.
We've got a lot. We've got a lot of. Well, and another thing, I turned 66 last week. Or
I didn't
week
want to
before
ask,
last.
but
Well,
you
I
look-
did, and
okay.
66 is the new 52. You know
Hey,
it
yeah.
is. So
I loved 66. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, so I still got 12 more years to go.
okay.
Just kidding.
Well, it's something to look forward to.
That was the year before I got my new hip. Yeah, no, anyway, yeah.
Carolina Mountain Club. I joined in 2008. I kept seeing the ad in the paper, hikes, come on and hike. And I finally went, and my daughter was in middle school. I went with these people, showed up, didn't know anybody, and Carolina Mountain Club takes you to beautiful places. You don't have to have a map, a route. So I promised myself I would do one hike a month because I could easily wash dishes, cook soup, make beds, and all the other things you get caught up in at home. So I started doing that, and I logged the hikes down.
Good for you.
Meticulously. So that's another way I started. I mean, I can't say enough about Carolina Mountain Club.
So do you still go on hikes with them?
Oh, my gosh. I lead one a quarter.
You lead one.
I lead one a quarter, and I scout always. I'm trained, Carolina Mountain Club trained. Carolina Mountain Club has a leader and a sweep. In emergency numbers, it's not slapdash. Carolina Mountain Club trains their guides. I digress. But yes, I still hike with them. Yeah, yes. And I lead for the Blue Ridge Hiking Company. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say I was lucky enough to be a guest guide, which is she's the one responsible, but a trip with Bev in April.
Now you're talking about Blue Ridge
Hiking Company in Pisgah. And it's really fun watching her in action. She's great.
Oh, and I needed Gary's help because he's a specialist.
He is.
He knows all the mountains. He knows everything.
I mean,
Well, my specialty
does.
with the Blue Ridge Hiking Company, I lead hikes all ages, but my specialty has come to be backpacking for women over 60. Yes.
Okay. And do you do this often? You get
They fill up.
Really?
Women want to backpack, and it's been a joy. That's been my stretch. When Jen hired me, I said, really, I'm a fair weather camper. I can lead hikes, but it's been a stretch. And one thing that I cannot do is throw a bare bag.
I hung the. I did the bear. They brought a token guy along to do the bear.
No,
run.
and I was thinking, I wanted, why should I just do women? Men may want to come too, husbands, friends. And we did a mixed gender group.
Yeah.
And it was a base camp group, and Gary threw the bear bag. He said so that all short bears couldn't get to it.
So, I digress, but talking about bears, do you often see bears out there? Or have you seen any?
Bears in our area are really shy. So, yes, I see them on occasion.
Except you live in downtown Asheville, then
yes,
you can
and
walk.
those bears I'd be a little more concerned about because they're accustomed to people.
The gated neighborhood bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the bears are.
Right.
But we don't backpack in gated neighborhoods. So.
That's what I would need. Yeah. Easy.
Well, what I learned from that trip is, number one, men don't sign up for these backpacks the way women do. Okay,
Yeah.
that's one thing. We did have one man, and
then
hiked
he
with me
backed
before.
out, didn't he?
And then he came with me in June, though.
Okay.
He's a solid
Yeah.
guy. And the other thing is, I'm never going to throw a bear bag. I'm hiking with bear canisters because I can't do it. I mean, it's time consuming.
I carried a bear canister for the first time in my life. The trip I went with Tanner, I could fit it on the very top of my pack.
Explain to our listeners or viewers what a bear canister is.
More and more they're requiring bear canisters, definitely in Shining Rock.
And it's a plastic something.
It's
like a something you have a lid on and you screw it on tight.
Yeah, you can't, because the bears, they can't get their Swiss Army knife out and get the lid off.
Unless it's Yogi Bear, he could probably do that.
It's a canister that you put all your smellies in there.
And how big is it?
Oh, let's see. It's about as big as a bongo.
small trash can.
Large bongo drum.
And you
if
need
you're in
more than one of those for a group because
If you hike with Bev, you do, because
you
I
have
like
lots
to
of
eat.
food.
I like to eat. Gary's a little more skimpy. But we manage together.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
you provide all the food for these hiking groups.
We provide the tent, the backpack, the sleeping bag,
Really?
the pad, all the food,
Yeah.
the poles,
Yeah.
unless you want to bring your own. It's
So they just show up.
it's on a lot of people's bucket list, or they see it when they pull up Blue Ridge Hiking Company and think, maybe I'll try that.
So when they look at the website, they have to determine what physical condition they're in before they sign up for a backpacking trip. I mean, that's
Yes.
no easy.
Well, there's some verbiage you read through, and then were you with me on the Zoom? I always Zoom with my people, and so does
really?
the company.
Yeah, there's Zoom. There's a vetting process for
Okay, so
any kind of questions. Yeah, that was my first kind of Zoom.
What do you mean you first kind of Zoom? Oh, you mean before we started doing the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, because we occasionally, during COVID,
Zoom
the
has
height
come
of it.
into its own the last 5 years. It really has.
Yeah, it's scary.
No, I mean, it's COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
It
nice
just
to be
comes in
together,
handy.
but,
Yeah.
it's,
we did several podcasts
good-
that way.
it's a good fill-in.
Well, I've seen her in action, and she is a wonderful guide. But she's also added a new thing to her. She's now doing this search and rescue training, which I'd love to hear.
Well,
how
I've got to
you go-
tell you, I saw some information about Carolina Mountain Club it was Bill Sanderson is heading up, getting a few CMC members to help with the search and rescue. Those badass, can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
Badass Haywood County search and rescue people.
Yeah.
I mean, they're unpaid, and they go out and, help
So
people that
badass in this case means good.
Yeah.
Okay, because you just mentioned the
But they're
county.
not
We don't
paid.
wanna-
They go in. People have slipped from a waterfall or gotten in trouble, and they're the search and rescue. They do swift water. I mean, they're incredible.
Wow.
But sometimes searches go 3-4 days, and these people have to go back to work. So they thought, well, Carolina Mountain Club, they know the area. Maybe we can recruit some people. I saw, and I just inquired something, and the next thing I knew, I was enlisted. I mean, but it's been a great thing.
Yeah.
So where did you get trained to do that, or you already have the training?
They've told me all I'll ever do is be posted at a trailhead to make sure nobody comes and goes. But I do go do the what's it when you go off the cliff? I can't think of it. You're on the rappelling, and I do some of their training just so I know kind of what they do. So it's a lot of fun.
So
It's
have you been called yet?
I got called once. I was coming back from a Blue Ridge Hiking Company. I'd taken some people out, and I got the call, and I was headed home to get my stuff. And then I got another text that they'd found the people. So it was a close call. But they've said it's going to be seldom.
But you're ready to go.
Well, I'm trying.
And
Mark.
I'm sure.
I mean,
we probably have CPR and first aid training too.
I have wilderness first aid, and I've gone and done. They have constant training. I've gone over there and trained with them when I could. What do you call it when you clamp off somebody's stop the bleed? That's the latest training I did with them. I can't think of what it's called.
Tourniquet, but probably not tourniquet.
Tourniquet, but is there another word? But anyway.
Compression.
Yeah, but anyway, that's all about guns, That's that new training. They're having people train
Because,
and knowing how to stop.
Yeah.
There is a word for it when you smush off. But anyway, I love training with them. I love growing. I've forgotten your question.
I don't remember either. It doesn't matter. I was asking, have you been called? And you
Okay. But it's fun. I mean, it's...
And the thing is, you probably know these trails better than anybody on the normal squad. Well, I mean...
Well, some of my information is old, and this trip I did in July... this trip I did in July with a group of scouts, Blue Ridge hiking, some of the trails I hadn't been on them in the last 2 years, and the tropical storm Fred that came through in October of 20.
It was August.
August,
Fred.
okay.
Yeah.
Just felt okay. It really hammered a lot. Yeah, I could see a lot of damage still out there. And just last week, my wife Barbara and I driving up 276 from the Waynesville side. You look at the Pigeon River there, it still...
Really?
Oh.
The search and rescue people talk about that event. I mean, 6 people died in Hayward County. It was so bad on that side. And every time I take people to graveyard fields, which is over and over and over and over, 3 times a month at least. And I could go there twice a week. It's beautiful. But I have to point to the bridge that we cross immediately over the Yellow Prong. It's tipped like Dr. Seuss. And I tell them about Fred. And the bridge is safe, but that's why hasn't been repaired completely. What's your cat's name?
That's Janie.
Hey, Janie.
She's knocking on the doors at 18 years old.
Oh,
I was going to say,
gosh.
wow. Yeah. So I don't know if our viewers can see Janie in the camera, but she's cute. She's black and white.
Green eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's go back to how the hiking, et cetera, because you got a varied life and it's amazing. But if people wanted to take a hike, so they find a website,
right,
and then they choose a hike based on consultation or reading? Or?
So, and I have to be careful the days that I say I'm available. And Gary could be doing this too, but he opts to be with Lily, his granddaughter, and your grandson too. But anyway.
No, the other's a daughter too.
Okay, but Gary works there too. Gary drives shuttles and does.
Well,
but
you're
anyway,
very busy because we have to work to get you in
I don't
here.
have grandchildren yet, so I'm careful about what days I say I'm available because it's a tourist. Tourism's the number one industry here, and bam, I'm signed up. Somebody's coming here December the 15th, and they want to take a hike, and they choose me as their guide. I'm available that day, and I get a confirmation notice, or in Baton Rouge, or wherever they are. So
do you take solo hikers or just groups? Or?
I take solo. I take couples. I
when
take
it's
parents and kids.
Okay, so it's not like
I've had dogs lately.
6 individuals who don't know each other don't all sign up for the same hike.
Well, over the summer, every other week, I split with another guide. We did AT hikes on Wednesdays. So that was a mixed group. So
people
in that case,
they were signing up for an AT hike and they didn't know each other. The group didn't. So,
but I do a lot more of the other private half day and full day hikes.
So, because you post pictures on Facebook all the time, and I see women's
I'm
groups.
I'm a shameless self-promoter.
Well,
and you know what?
be.
I'm 66, and I'm out there doing this.
I'm
And
telling you.
You know what? I'm happy. And so I'm putting it on Facebook. I love that Facebook. And what I always tell my clients is this. I have 3 sisters, 2 are Republican, 2 of us are Democrat. And I don't put that stuff on there.
Yeah.
I just put my happy hiking pictures. Danny Bernstein blogs. I don't know how to blog. My blog is my Facebook.
We've actually interviewed Danny Bernstein.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was on the Greenway last week.
And she was
down
there?
here, bumped in. They had a half-day hike on the Greenway.
Okay.
I said... I
believe Carol Keplinger was there.
And Carol was there. And Carol...
You've interviewed Carol, too.
Is...
So...
His next birthday, he turns 93.
And it's December. It's this month. And he still leads 10 and 12-mile hikes.
Yes.
He's incredible.
So, okay, people find you to go on a hike. And most of your hikes are day hikes, but you do backpacks as well.
Yes.
Is there... So, I know you said graveyard fields. You've been over and over and over.
Yep.
Is there any... If someone said, Bev, take me... I want to go on a great hike one day, see scenery, waterfalls. What would you take them on? What would you
For a
suggest?
full day?
Yeah, full day.
Oh, my gosh. It's like choosing between my children.
Really?
Depends on... well, Black Balsam, Tenet, down around Ivester Gap. that's a solid right
been on
there.
that
It's
one?
beautiful. It's like going to Scotland up there.
I
It's
would
just-
say you'd have to avoid I've heard lately weekends up there are just slammed.
Well, and I tell you
Everyone-
another thing, COVID had something to do with
Yeah.
that. Let me insert this. I'm also a trail maintainer that came
Yeah.
along during I maintained Max Patch, and during
Oh,
COVID,
yeah.
Max Patch was
yeah.
like Woodstock up there. People camping and trash. You know, I was
Yeah,
doing
didn't
no
they
maintenance.
close
so
it to something?
the forestry system put new regulations down. No camping, can't be there an hour before sunrise, an hour after sunrise, dogs on leash, lots of new regulations. And
Anybody
it was a
enforcing it?
rescue. Yeah.
Anybody
Now Paul Curtin's Trail Ambassador program is incredible. I chuckled when he first mentioned it. I thought that's never going to work. People would, on occasion, walk through and educate people on not going off trail, and it's worked. I mean, that
Yeah.
and the regulations is a combination of things.
Have you ever hiked on Roan Mountain?
Yeah. And I
My-
backpacked up there. It's beautiful.
Summer camp I used to have, my wife and I used to have, was at the base of Roan Mountain in a community
Oh, my
called
gosh.
Beuladine between Iron Mountain Gap and Hughes Gap, if you know that section.
Oh,
Iron Mountain Gap.
I've
I-
walked that with
I think
my
I-
buddies.
So if you Iron Mountain Gap, Hughes Gap, then you get to Carver's Gap. So we are, on the way to Roan. We're at the base.
Is it a camp that has buildings?
Used to. Now it's the Southern
Highlands.
Highlands Appalachian Conservancy bought
Oh, yeah.
the land
Oh, yeah.
a few years ago and
I
had
did
land.
one of their hikes, one of their
Did you
10
really?
or 14-day
so
hikes.
it's now it's called Big Rock Creek Preserve now. There may be
Oh.
one building left that's caretaker's place in the summer, but it's right now it's got a fence or
Oh,
a
okay.
gate.
I don't know where that building is, but I've done the
No,
hike,
you
and they
wouldn't-
used to have
no,
goats.
the building
Do you
you
remember
wouldn't see from the trail. No,
okay.
no, building's way off.
Do you
the
remember they
trail.
had the program with the goats there for a
Oh,
while?
yeah.
To keep
To keep,
things eaten down. Something went wrong with that. I'm not sure. Maybe something got the goats, or
Well, I'm not sure what would
Well.
get the goats up there except
well,
got your goat. I don't know, but yeah. But because usually you have this Great Pyrenees dog that would help guard the goats and stuff. But I guess there could be coyotes up there.
yeah, that's what.
I don't know what else would be up there. People.
need a donkey. You
Yeah,
got
that's
coyotes.
right. That's right. Or cows. So that'd be one of your favorite hikes. What if someone said, what if someone said, I'm 80
That'd
years
be one
old?
of-
You know, I should have prepared for this question. I mean, I miss Catawba Falls. That's going to be open again this summer when somebody takes a half-day hike. In the wintertime, that was a big, I do my high-low.
So when you say
I'd go
miss
to-
it, is it closed for?
Yeah.
There were a lot of accidents there. People were clambering up to the upper falls, so they closed it, and the trails needed reparation, so it will open again this summer. But that was a big, one of my winter hikes. I do Lookout Mountain in Montreat. High.
Yeah.
Well, I do Catawba Falls in the morning when, let's see. Yeah, and then up to Lookout by the time it warmed up. That would be
I mean, that's one
a
hike
half
or two
or
hikes.
a full day. That'd be a combo hike. Half day if you're fast
Okay.
enough. Full day if you're a little
Right.
bit slower, a family.
Suppose someone, I know you don't do any hikes for people like in a wheelchair, but say someone who's 80 who can walk, but they're not in fit. What would be a
Come
hike?
hike. Okay.
Yeah.
How about Laurel River in Hot Springs? That's a really good one. That's about the only level hike I know of. And that
Now, where
I've
is
taken
that?
people
I've
that
been I was just at Hot Springs.
you're going
I
in.
should have found
it's
that.
5 miles toward Asheville from Hot Springs.
Okay.
And the Laurel River, if you take that
Big
hike
Laurel.
all the
Is
way.
that Big Laurel. And that used to be an old logging community.
Runyon.
Never been there.
Oh, my gosh,
no,
Gary.
I know.
Okay. Have you gone to the convergence of the French Broad, those two rivers where they converge? And I've backpacked along,
No.
camped along
Our
the Laurel
paddling
River.
buddies have done that. But
That's a real hole in your
Yeah.
itinerary because Gary
no, there's
took
some,
campers
I've
down
ne-
the rivers all the way to the ocean before.
Absolutely. Give
But
me-
you know, I've never been to Catawba Falls. That's another one.
Yeah, that's a hole. We need to
Yeah,
remedy
yeah.
that.
So off on a different subject, by the way, Gary.
Yeah.
Oscar Blues has stopped making 1E beer. I got that from the horse's mouth when I was at the beer fest.
Well, I'll tell
But-
my son-in-law.
But why I mention it is because we mentioned Catawba. So Highland Brewery has one called Lower Falls or something. That's a low calorie
Yeah.
beer. Anyhow,
Oh, that might be. They may be referring to Graveyard, Upper and Lower Falls,
I don't-
Second
I
Falls.
don't remember.
You know, I think back. This is when our kids were little. We backpack. I mean, park graveyard fields was not visited that much. Camping with our kids, down there. And we used to, of course, backpacking.
I remember, yeah. Always.
That was a popular backpacking end of trip there, and then walk out to get picked up at the Parkway. But they had to close that for backpacking just because it's so popular.
Well, and COVID, back to that topic,
Yeah.
had a lot to do with that because people couldn't go to the restaurants, their movies, but they could go outside, and there'd be people pulling 6-packs up to the top of Max Patch and wake up with a hangover and just bobble away from their tent and leave the tent. I can't tell you how many tents were left up there.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't take but a few bad apples.
Then I thought I heard that I won't mention which university, but some fraternity trashed it at a big weekend party or something one time. Probably more than one.
There's probably more than one group like
Yeah.
that.
But you can day hike over it, up to it now?
Yes, it's spotless. It was a rescue. That's what it was. It was a rescue.
So Max Patch, for our listeners, is definitely a hike to do.
Jewel of the Appalachian Trail,
Yeah,
of the Southern Appalachian Trail.
And they should call Blue Ridge Hiking Company and find out about it.
Yeah.
And I was in Hot Springs about a month ago and was hiking on that Lover's Leap Trail.
Lover's
Went right
Leap,
by.
I go there a
what's
lot.
that place called?
Wait a minute.
That your company had a
Oh yeah,
outpost.
our
What was it called?
our trailer.
Yeah,
our
Appalachian
hostel
Trail,
on the.
So I think I
Yeah.
saw that, but I couldn't tell whether it was in operation or not. But
Yeah, yes.
all of a sudden I got the feeling I was on private land for a bit, though, and I got scared that I was going to get shot or something. But because it went to a gate, around a gate or something, and then up. You know what I'm talking about? Somewhere near that Appalachian trailer. Maybe I was on someone's private land.
Maybe you were.
Could have been.
I don't remember a gate over there.
Wasn't like you
Was
closed.
it a steep downhill from that gate to?
Not, I don't
No, I don't know. I don't know where you
I
were.
don't know. Me either. That's the whole point. I don't know where I am. Didn't know where I am. So that's why I need someone like Bev. So, I think it's great that there's a service like this. I didn't even know, one existed until you told me about it. And
There's several.
Thank you.
Ours is the best.
I'm sure it is. How many people work with them?
Well, it skimps down in the winter, and then she hires more in the hiking, the spring, summer, fall seasons.
It's
I don't
right
know
now-
how many. I mean,
And the ones I've met, it's an amazing collection. I mean, the first hike I ever did, where I shadowed Lauren Smucker. Lauren has she's an artist, and she also is a firefighter.
a wild forest
Wildfires.
fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
she goes all over.
Yeah.
It's an elite group, and I mean, I don't know what I'm doing there, except well, you know what? I appeal to an older crowd when I'm backpacking. I think one thing she wanted, to be able to backpack with somebody of your own era.
So we're getting near the end of our podcast.
Okay, but tell me, I want to pull out something that I thought of this morning to show you
Please
that I
do that.
brought.
Absolutely.
Will you hand me my satchel over there? Will that make a bunch of rustling?
So,
Let's see.
no, it won't matter. So, any advice you have for anybody thinking of starting hiking, and they're like you're 66, you said, and Gary and I are older. So,
Carolina Mountain Club
Just start with
leads
that.
3 to 4 hikes every week of the year if you live in this area. Even my folks that hike through Blue Ridge Hiking Company, if they're from here, I tell them, you need to join Carolina Mountain Club for $20 a year.
Yeah.
It's incredible. You just show up. Sometimes you have to reserve now. That's a new COVID thing.
Oh.
And show up for the hike, and they'll take you to you just follow along or carpool. Beautiful places. And the half-day hike on Sunday is a great place to start. And they have a new hiker program. Carolina Mountain Club's just growing all the time.
So what's an average hike number of people they take? Or is there, I'm sure there's a set limit.
And I'm leading one March 8th. The new Strawberry is conservation land over there, part of the Hickory Nut Gap system.
Yeah, yeah,
10.5 miles.
Yeah.
Hard,
Strawberry.
I've heard. Hard hike. those.
Strawberry. Well, that one's an all day, a little bit harder hike. What was your question?
How many people?
Okay, so I've limited. It's up to the hike leader. I limited mine to 12.
Okay.
And it's just
I'll,
numbers. It's a lot more fun to go out, say, with 12 than to go out with 20.
Right.
So that's.
So here's my question, because I'm at this age where every so often, if I have to go to the bathroom, I have to go to the bathroom. And so what happens to co-ed group and I got to go to the bathroom?
That is what I thought of before I joined Carolina Mountain Club. I said to my daughter, "Oh my gosh, I drink water and pee all the time. But I found out immediately they have what they call trail breaks. Separate by gender. You can find your own private place, and everything.
No one makes fun of you. Like, you can't hold it for another hour.
No, and I tell you what, that's a good breaking of you too, to be able to pee in the woods. And it's a good. Everybody needs to be broken a little bit.
That's right.
On occasion.
Well, what did you want to share with
us?
us?
All right. It occurred to me this morning. I haven't had this book out in it was 44 years ago. My daughter asked me about it about 5 years ago. I just want to show.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm just going to show you one thing.
I can hold your mic.
Yeah, I just want to say that once upon a time, I was a full makeup woman. And that I became this person after... Well, my first camping trip was Cumberland Island. That was when these women taught me how, before I met Larry and got married. But in
Barbara and I backpacked
40s,
there.
Okay. But this used to be, if I can find, I used to model in Paris.
I'm not going to say you're kidding me, but I had no clue.
I mean, I was an unambitious model. Wow. And when I was at University,
hold that up to the camera here for a minute.
Okay. I mean, I was in the Italian Vogue. That's in here because my sister was modeling over there, and I did a little bit, but I got distracted by a man, and it was the best and worst of times. But I used to not go. I used to not go to a class at University of South Carolina without full makeup. I just am so much happier like this. Yeah, that's my cue card. I don't know. I haven't put makeup on in 25 years.
Sweetie, you don't need it.
I'm just saying. If I could make that camera close up, they would all see. But they're about 6 feet away. So. Yeah.
But I just, and I think I see my young daughter. She puts on makeup. It's a beautiful, canvas. But I'm a different person, and I came to this as a mature person. So. You can too. And I lost 25 pounds. And I had elevated cholesterol. There were some other things my doctor told me to. I was so insulted. But I was like, I hike all the time.
So did you hike as a teenager or 20-year-old? 30?
No. But thank you. You hold it. I used to pull my father to the tent in the Kmart as a child. I'd always say, but nobody took me. So I fixed that as an adult. And so can you. I recommend it.
There you go.
Boy. Well, we got a couple more things to do. Because I know there's a million more things you could talk about. But one of them is very, very important. You're lucky today, Bev. Because, Gary.
I believe Bev has earned
a
diploma from the Gary and Mark Podcasting University, a BS in podcasting.
With honors.
It will be framed. It will be framed.
So this is kind of a frame here. We spare no expense.
Yeah.
But... we are proud to have you as our latest graduate.
Proud. That's what I am.
Yeah. She needs a title, now that we think about it.
Well, let's see. She could be our trail... Well, I guess Peter Barr's one of our trail specialists.
We could have two.
But she could be our inspirational...
That's right.
Get out and walk spokesperson. Because, as she said, there's... no time to, if you want to do it, do it now. And
make hay while the sun shines.
That's
Amen.
Right. Don't postpone joy.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to add, Bev?
It's a beautiful world. I wrote this on my Facebook this morning, and I do love my Facebook. It's a beautiful world. As long as you can get up and go do it.
Yep.
Alone, with friends, blood pressure down.
Yep.
Get out in the forest.
Yeah. Well, you look great, and we appreciate you being here.
I'm honored, so honored.
Yeah. It took her a long time to get her signed
Well,
out.
She's a busy person.
When's your next hike? I mean, today's Monday, so do you have any?
I had one canceled for tomorrow. It was a big one. I've got, we've all been told we're going to take a three-week hiatus for the young manager that's been running the place. I've got one December the 2nd lined up. I've got a little break here. My son's coming from Manhattan for a week, Thanksgiving, so I'm...
Does he work there?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
All right. Well, Gary, we need to thank our sponsors. If we can remember them, it's been a while.
Well, let's see.
Some of them, anyhow.
The Big Whiz Pocket Buddy.
Oh, yeah. And Rabbit Island Resort.
Rabbit Island Resort.
Yeah, we have decals for Bev, too. So we'll give
we
you
do.
those.
And anytime she wants to go stay at Rabbit Island.
Free. Doesn't have to pay anything.
No.
Right.
No.
Right. Nice resort. We got that place down in Salute Outfitters.
Outfitters.
L.J. Mars and his Doves and Iron Key and Athletic Brewing and That's probably most of them.
There you go.
No one's given us any money lately,
No.
so if we leave one out, that's okay.
Yeah.
But we want to thank you for being here.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's been fun.
My
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thanks.
Yep.
I'm Mark.
I'm Gary.
We'll see you next time. GaryandMarkShow.com.
Yep.